Hello, people of the internet. My name is George, the artist here at Leafy Games.
And my name is Preston, and I'm the programmer.
So this devlog will focus on update 0.49c, which should be out now. The biggest addition, which you can probably clearly see, is the Colonial Union Hub. So this is the sort of the station that if you create an Intrepid class starship, this is the station you see. It's been half damaged by mysterious forces. And it's always located in sector 0 of the galaxy, and there's almost always a long-range warp station within a jump of that station. So if you create an Intrepid class starship, you'll start right next to it, or if you create a cruiser or a stargazer, you can probably easily get there through the long-range warp stations.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been a pretty good amount of content. It's a pretty big place to explore and see some cool stuff. We've also added NPCs that will be populated in the area, and you'll be able to interact with them as well using a new dialogue system. So you can go up, press R, and open up a dialogue window. Pretty standard stuff. It will show their various sort of text responses and allow you to do some basic dialogue with them. So I think it's pretty cool. Right now, I believe it is basically specific to the hub, but we'll be adding more dialogue and NPC options to the rest of the game. So
Yeah. And just to be super clear, this is the first version of the Colonial Union Hub. We have many more plans, and it's just I think it's about ready to start testing this area. Did you talk about the crew spending pool?
No. So also these NPCs, you can there's some shopkeepers, and these shopkeepers work a little bit differently than normal. So normally the captain is the only one who can interact with shops, but now we're allowing everyone in the crew to interact with shops. But if you're not the captain, you'll be using funds from the crew spending pool, which the captain will be able to assign credits to, and then as you spend them, that pool will go down, and the captain can assign more.
I believe also if a crew member sells some of their own items, that gets added to the crew spending pool, correct?
Correct. That's how it should work. So,
Cool. So that's another way they can sort of increase it.
So that's a new system. Yeah. So we're looking for feedback on that. It should allow. We're hoping to give the captain. At the end of the day, he still has control over the finances, but this allows the rest of the crew to sort of still buy stuff and still have some decisions in the process. So we think it's an interesting mix. So we'll be looking for your feedback on that.
Besides that, we've taken a sort of a step back and looked at some of the gunplay, and I think we've made some few improvements across the board, and we've also added a few new guns, and we've also tweaked the AI so that they're a little better at aiming, so hopefully that can give you a better threat. We still have some more work to do, but it's an improvement, I think.
Yeah, in some ways it's been an overhaul, so we've been really trying to make the AI a bit more of a challenge, a bit more fun to fight. So we hope that you like it, and there's more improvements coming on that front as well. So yeah, that's I believe the main topics for 0.49c. Full release notes are in the description below as always, and now I'll be moving to our Q&A session, so I'll be answering some of your questions. Stay tuned.
Before we jump into the questions, I just want to make one small announcement regarding the community designed hub. So if you don't know already, we're opening submissions for ideas, and then we're going to be actually starting to vote on those ideas next week. So this is the last week to submit your ideas. We highly recommend walking around the newly added Colonial Union Hub. It's still early, but hopefully it gives you a general idea of what we're going for, and that may serve as some inspiration. So just to be super clear, 1 week left for submitting your ideas. We've gotten some really cool ideas so far, and we're really excited to see which one we end up making.
Totally. So yeah, we'll move on to our Q&A.
All right, so many of you have been asking about beta, what the plan is, when it's coming, what do we hope to have by beta, and a few other things, especially when it comes to like Steam. Are we going to be doing early access? That's been a big one. So yeah, do you want to start?
So a little while ago we formulated sort of a list of what we really wanted in beta, what we considered core features or systems or pieces of content. And we're not necessarily going to say them all right here, but I think we've come a pretty decent way along the list, and I think we're ready to talk about some of the big ones that are left. So I think we're starting to solidify what beta exactly is going to be, even though it isn't here yet. And we're sort of finalizing the last big sort of steps that we want to do. So I'll kind of go over them one by one here. So enemy ships with crews. So this is essentially fighting enemy Intrepids or enemy WD cruisers or stuff like this. It's been something we've really wanted to do for a long time, and there's technically we have a lot of systems that are ready for this. We just got to spend the time to basically kind of iron them all out and get them in. So it's in the short-term plans. That's all I can say for now, but it is definitely something we want for beta. In fact, that one's going to be coming probably pretty soon. So character customization. This is stuff like gender selection or hair color or eye color, facial hair, stuff like that. We do plan on having a basic character customization system in the game, so you'll be able to do some of that sort of customization that we know that is important to a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
So land support, that is something we do consider core, and it will be in by beta. So not too much to say on that, but we do know that sometimes that is a feature that we certainly have appreciated in the past.
For sure.
So we have every intention of doing it. There's not many technical reasons why it's not that. It's mostly just getting the licensing and figuring out some sort of other questions before we can just kind of throw it in. But technically speaking, we're not too far from that. We hope to have it in soon. So player kicking and crew permissions. We have a lot of ideas on this, how exactly we want to handle it. There's a lot of interesting ways to do this. So we're right now, I think our plan is a relatively simple system that we'll sort of build on as we learn how people use it. We don't want these type of systems to be abused, but at the same time, there should be a system to get rid of someone who's negatively affecting other players. So
yeah,
it's a hard balance to strike, and we hope to give it the appropriate amount of time and attention that it does deserve. And we do consider that a core feature. I think so. Yeah, another core feature we haven't talked about too much is the exosuit, as well as uninhabitable planets and atmospheres. So the exosuit, what exactly do we want to say about that? So, do you know?
Well, first of all, the name still might change, exosuit.
Yeah.
We're not sure, but that's what we've been calling it. If some of you have wandered into any of the life support areas on the ships, you may notice 5 suits ready to go. Those are the exosuits. You will be able to equip them. They have their own oxygen supply. They have their own climate system. They can. They're sort of a go-to solution for pretty much any extreme environment that would otherwise be unhealthy.
Or just a space station that you can board without that. It doesn't have oxygen or life support, so you have to use a suit. So we do have some pretty interesting plans, and that is sort of a core feature for beta. That's something that's probably going to happen closer to beta itself. But it is something that we have been thinking about and are ready to sort of formally tell you about now. So, yeah. And we also plan on supporting planets with unbreathable atmospheres. So that is also part of the exosuit, as well as stations without oxygen and stuff like that.
And then uninhabited planets that have never had humans step foot. Since we're sort of constrained to a teleport system, for the most part, we are planning on having some kind of probe launch, so you can sort of shoot sort of a disposable teleporter down to a planet. And in fact, that's kind of if you ever go to a desert planet, that's that sort of teleport station. That's kind of what it's supposed to be, although it doesn't. I admit it doesn't really look like one yet. It will in the future.
So yeah, for the most part, there's a lot of stuff that isn't necessarily on this feature list, like stuff like content. So what exactly are you looking for as far as content for beta? It's probably be useful to say, right?
Yeah.
So we want a decent amount of content. We want enough to kind of sink your teeth into. We want it to be a fun game experience when we go into beta. That's the goal of beta. And there's gonna be more of a focus on the actual balance and just variety of content, stuff like that.
Things to explore. A lot of people have told us that there's very little variation in the type of enemies that you find, and that's simply because we haven't spent a whole lot of time adding that variation because we would just work on other things, getting them just in the game and working. But that's all what beta is. Beta is just, we have so many ideas. This is probably going to be the most entertaining for everyone, is going to be part beta, because just, the sky's the limit in many different ways. That's how we can approach these. We can, planets, ships, stations, other enemy crews. We can modify every type of component. We can even modify the talents that the crews have. I mean, we can go really far, and we're really excited to finally get to a place where that's what we do all day.
Yeah, I think, a lot of what Pulsar's fun about, makes Pulsar fun, is the sort of connection between systems and how they sort of react to each other and playing with those kind of levers. So that's mainly what Alpha's been about, is just adding all these systems, trying to figure out cool ways for them to interact, and then beta is really going to be about creating content that uses these systems and is fun and unique and engaging. So
that's the goal.
That is the goal. So I believe for the most part those are the core features. There's one or two that I also do want to mention real quick. We also are planning on a chaos system.
Yeah.
So this is going to affect the game's pacing a little bit. So the idea is that as you sort of go on your adventure, the chaos level of the galaxy will rise. And
should we explain kind of lore-wise why that's happening?
Sure. Do you want to explain?
So there's actually a story behind this game, believe it or not. There's a sort of a galaxy-wide transmission of a mysterious figure. Sort of, it's very simple, but one of the consequences of this transmission announcing that there's something very special / maybe even dangerous in this galaxy is the fact that the Colonial Union actually cuts this galaxy off from the rest of the Union network. So the whole game you're playing in a fringe galaxy that is partially developed, partially still kind of lawless. When the Colonial Union actually inhabits, like probably hundreds and hundreds of galaxies. This is one just on the edge. It's still being developed, and it got cut off. The galactic warp network has been closed, so everyone's just sort of stuck in this galaxy. And as time passes, the assumed galaxy chaos rating, or whatever, increases. Since we're not going with a ticking clock, we're gonna have the galaxy chaos increase through other means, which are still up for discussion.
Yeah, there will be ways to accelerate the chaos, but I don't believe we have any plans for a way to decrease. So the idea of chaos, that it's always increasing, but you can slow the rate of increasing. And then as the chaos level increases, it affects stuff like spawn rates of different enemies. Enemies might become harder. You'll find more equipped ships, more upgraded ships, as they have also gone through the chaos and survived and become stronger. So the whole galaxy becomes this sort of, chaotic rumble, and then the strongest survive and become stronger. So
we're also really hoping to tie in large events to this system. I think right now this all could easily change. Just keep that in mind. But the Galaxy Chaos, I think has 1 to 10 or 1 to 6. It's a very small and sort of scale.
Yeah.
But each one could potentially introduce a new sort of randomized event that sort of changes how the galaxy is portrayed, or how you might want to traverse it. We're really excited to start experimenting with that stuff.
Correct, and those would be either randomized or pulled from a set or something. But the idea would be, these sort of additive effects would happen as the chaos increases. So we'll talk a lot more about that when it's actually ready and in the game. But
Yeah.
we just wanted to sort of put all the stuff that we are looking to get beta, to look at into beta out there. So and Chaos is a part of that. So I wanted to mention it. So yeah, I believe that's sort of the main stuff for beta. There's a lot of other stuff planned, for the most part, just more stuff, content, variety, and all the features we mentioned. But yeah. So yeah, we'll move on to the more questions.
All right. So when do you think beta will be released?
Our current internal deadline is June. So what we want to sort of, our public deadline was going to be June to July. So expect it sometime between beginning of June and end of July this year, our beta launch.
The reason for the large window is simply because we iterate a lot, and because of that, it's very difficult to get a precise date, because we, based on some feedback or some bugs that we find, it could just add another week to the work that we didn't account for. So hopefully that window gives us enough time, and we're going to really try and stick with it.
Yeah, so our current, if we make exactly the things we think we're going to make before beta, it should be early June. But as these things usually go, we end up hearing suggestions or just seeing a system that we go, okay, this thing, it really needs this other thing to work. So we have to go build that other thing. So,
Yeah.
But we're hoping, I think we're close enough at this point that we're relatively confident in that window. So, and we are hoping for the earlier side of that window, but if it does end up in July, it's probably because we ended up adding a bunch of stuff. So, that we felt was vital to the experience. So, and you'll be playing it probably in June anyway. So even if
we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But
hopefully that gives you a good window. I apologize. It is still a few months away, but hopefully, based on the list we sort of gave you earlier, there's still a few things we haven't mentioned yet. We still kind of want to keep a few surprises up our sleeves. But yeah, hopefully that helps out and clarifies where we're coming from. And once again, we apologize for the radio silence for that answer. We've just been hesitant to give any specifics.
So yeah, next question. To answer some questions we've gotten about support for multiple ships and or like fleet battles, that is not currently in the plans for release. So we're not saying that we're going to support that at this time. It's something we are interested in, but if it does happen, it's going to be some sort of it's likely going to be a post-release update. So, and it's something that we're not guaranteeing at this time. So we think it's cool, just no guarantees for that.
Will there be ship customization in the future? I assume by that you mean like changing the visuals of the interior, like colors and that sort of stuff. I think the best answer we can give right now is maybe. I think we're going to be tackling that towards polish, so it's still quite a ways away from being sort of on our list of things to do. But yeah, I'd say just the short answer is, probably not a whole lot of customization, if any. You can customize your ship components, the name, and maybe some kind of decal color. But yeah,
we might offer some sort of settings you can change as the captain, perhaps like lighting settings or something for the ship, or door settings. So there might be some stuff, but it may not be exactly what you're talking about. But we do plan on having the ability for you to sort of influence a little bit about what your ship is, and of course, even if not customizing visuals, you could of course customize all sorts of other stuff like the behavior of the systems and programs and energy and other stuff. So yeah.
Can you name your server something besides the name of your ship?
So yeah, we will be supporting a different server name and then your ship name, especially in the future when you can take another ship. So
yeah.
So in that case, yeah, we're still figuring out exactly how that's going to work, but the short answer is yes. We will be supporting that in some way.
Some people have been asking about aliens. Yeah, we do have a few aliens in development. We've talked before about the infected, which I believe is still a name work in progress. We've got some good ideas. We should probably start switching that name. But I assume you mean sort of like more humanoid aliens. And there is one that's heavily attached to the history that we're building for the universe and the galaxy. And we do have some pretty interesting quirks. And it will look different from humans, but it will sort of be a bipedal humanoid character, that you can, sort of like Mass Effect-ish, you know what I mean? But we will have at least one, and that will be a playable race. Potentially faction restricted based on lore, but it will be a playable race.
Yep. So we will be supporting playable alien races as well as enemy aliens and stuff like the infected that we've shown before.
Hopefully that clarifies.
So we've had some new questions regarding mod support now that Unity 5 has changed how engine features work, meaning that all the engine features are available on the free to download edition. So yeah, I found this question very interesting. But yeah, there are some cool stuff. Because all the engine features are available in the personal edition, we could essentially turn Unity into a mod workshop toolkit sort of thing. And you could build mods right in Unity. And because all the pro features are now included in the free edition, that does sort of open up some new options that were not available before. But if this had happened a long time ago, maybe the answer would be different. But it was a little bit late in development to be promising something like mod support. So we're gonna kind of play with the idea, but right now there's absolutely no guarantees, and our official answer is no mod support. But it is something that could potentially happen post-release. So yeah, thanks for the question. Really interesting. So we've had some questions as far as VR support with some of the new announcements from Valve and our previously announced Oculus support. So our current plans are to move to integrate Oculus support first, and then we're going to see how the sort of VR space develops. We're hoping that an open API will happen so that you guys will be able to use just about any headset and play PULSAR. So ultimately, that is our goal. We're going to try to do it where it makes sense, and support as much as we can without having to redesign the whole game. So that's sort of our stance on VR. In the near future, we should hopefully be integrating the native Unity 5 support when it's released, hopefully very soon, and we'll be releasing that as soon as we get it working to a satisfactory level. So
yeah, sounds good.
We will also, another technology we're playing with is Track IR. So it's something to potentially look forward in the future, because we are experimenting with it. So I believe that's it for now. So thanks.
A few of you have been asking for a new video sort of going over all the features and systems of the game. And we are planning on actually having sort of a system of like a collection of tutorials that goes over every class and system and some basic strategy. However, we're probably going to save that till around the time a little bit after we release the beta, maybe, just so we don't have to redo it for a while, hopefully. But if you are sort of new or unfamiliar with some of the systems, we do have a sort of a PDF tutorial that goes over in depth some of the systems, and we update it occasionally with the new content and the new systems. So if you want to learn more about how the systems work or how to use them, download the Ship Owner's Manual. There should be a link in this description, and that can give you sort of a comprehensive, it's like 20 something pages. It's pretty in depth. It goes over all the different screens and all that stuff. So hopefully that helps in the meantime. And in the future, we are planning on doing a collection of tutorial videos to help get people in the game, and in the future, even far future, we will have an in-game tutorial, the Academy, where you can go and learn all the systems in the game as you're learning. So that is planned. I forgot to mention that earlier.
So also, some people have been wondering about, or just wanted sort of an official approval or whatever of whether or not they could like upload and monetize videos to YouTube of Pulsar or stream it. So yeah, we fully do. We authorize any use of the footage from the game. You can monetize it, you can stream it, record it. We allow all of that. So we're just making that clear.
You know, feel free to show off, even if it's in an unflattering light. You know what I mean? It's better if people understand what the game is at the time. If anything, I would recommend, it'd be nice to have the lower right-hand corner of the screen visible so people know it's in alpha or if it's in beta, you know, just to help communicate that the game isn't done. But besides that, I mean, even then, if you don't really want to show it, go, you know. We're not going to come attack you or anything. Feel free to do whatever you want with the videos. So.
Indeed. Thanks for the question.
So this concludes the Q&A section of the video. We hope that provided some clarification, and hopefully, you know, we try to be very transparent with our stuff and our work, and yeah, hopefully those answers were good. And if we didn't answer something that well, or if we didn't understand the question, let us know in the comments or email us, or you know, we'll be happy to help in any way we can. And yeah,
hopefully you guys enjoy the updates, and we will be looking for your feedback as well. So we're always looking for feedback.
Have a good one, guys. Bye.
See you next week.